you can be born with being 60% of the way there.
Yeah.
Like you're like 25, 26, you're at your peak lung capacity, your voice is fully developed, all those things. You're already there. And then someone can be 45, their voice is changing, everything's changing, and start from matching pitch, start from stringing together notes and not just going, make you feel my love.
Yeah.
Taking that to make you feel my love, you know?
Yeah.
But if that person practices and 60% over here doesn't practice, then this person's going to get to 50 and this person's going to stay at 60. And then this person's going to get to 55 and this person's going to stay at 60.
Hey Voxstar, and welcome to From Singer to Artist. I'm Lara Chapman, award-winning singer and songwriter turned viral vocal coach and the host of this show. At VoxTape Studios, we help singers from all over the world level up their voices by teaching them the 3 fundamental skills all singers need: technique, awareness, and artistry. Whether you're looking to go pro or just develop your voice for fun, my team and I are here to help. Check the link in the description to book your first session or grab some of our other resources. Alrighty, are you ready? Let's get started. With me, I have the beautiful Emily.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. You're a wonderful coach at VoxTape Studios. I'm super excited to have a chat with you today about, oh my goodness, is singing a natural talent? Can it be learned? How much of it can be learned? Because, you know, there's some people that are like, you know, you have to have natural talent to get the really, really good level. So let's talk about that. And then we're also going to look at some examples of some of the biggest stars out there who are doing vocal exercises. And we'll discuss what are these exercises for and, or we think they're for, because, you know, there's a million exercises out there and they all have different purposes. And sometimes the same exercise can have multiple purposes. So we'll just look at some videos to show you that even the biggest stars need to practice their singing. Anyways, so let's get started with, is singing a natural talent? Can it be learned? What do you think about this?
Okay, this is like one of my favorite questions ever, because I feel like in media or just in, I don't know, big discourse, there's a lot of like, this person can't sing and this person can, or we like talk about the idea of people being tone deaf. And being tone deaf is a real thing, but typically those people don't actually like listening to music. It's not, okay, I can't match pitch. That means I'm tone deaf. From my experience, I think that anyone can learn to sing. I also think that biologically, some things are going to be easier for some people. The same way that like some people are Olympians and some people are also really good at tennis. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a really great question, or like a point that you're bringing up. Like some people are Olympians and some people are just really good at playing tennis or whatever the sport is. Now, can someone with a lot of practice, could they eventually become Olympians?
Yeah. If we're talking about singing, I think 100%. Your life experiences, I think, also shape your voice. Like I talk about all the time with students how like belting's really easy for me, high belting, because I'm from a big Italian family and I'm always like I'm talking like this and my voice raises. And so that's literally how you belt. Like that's how you do it. So I've been belting my whole life. So I think taking into consideration what you already do in your day to day is going to inform your singing voice a lot. And then playing to your strengths is going to help you kind of move into that Olympian status.
Yes.
That's kind of where I sit on
I'm
it.
so glad you're bringing this up. You're bringing up so many good points. Ooh, I'm loving this. So strengths. That is something that I talk about with my students all the time. Like, especially the ones that want to do this professionally, right? It's like, okay, it's so easy to always focus on the things that we can't do. Like I still remember the bad grades that I got in middle school. Yeah. But I don't remember the good grades, right? But it's the same thing in singing. Like we can focus so easily on the things that we can't do or not as well that we kind of lose sight of the things that we can do well. So we think like, I'm not a good singer. I can't sing like Ariana Grande. Well, if you're not a songbird, like if you don't have the soprano kind of voice, then good luck singing Ariana Grande like Ariana Grande.
Yes.
If you have more of like a Demi Lovato kind of, you know, lower, more powerful kind of voice. Like I always say, if Adele sang Ariana Grande, she wouldn't sound that great. Like she would probably still sound really good, but not like Adele good.
Yes.
She sounds really great when she sings stuff that's right for her. So, you know, playing into your strengths and picking the right songs for your voice. Oh my gosh, like that's half the battle.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, and then I feel like the other half of the battle is just taking away, maybe getting into a hot take, but taking away the morality within singing. Like it's not, some sounds are not inherently good and some sounds are not inherently bad. It's so subjective. I was listening to a student in a first lesson, I don't know, a couple months ago. And I was like taking notes in my brain of like, okay, this is something we can adjust. This is something. And then I kind of like sat for a second and I was like, why do I need to adjust these things if they're not, if that sound isn't scratching the itch in my brain the way that I maybe expected it to? Why should this person fall under my expectations of their voice?
Oh.
And I think that as a singer, like that's a really great reflection to do of like, why should I try to align my voice with this set of expectations? Should it be easy and comfortable and you should be able to have a fun time doing it? 100%. But if the sound isn't saying we're on pitch and, you know, with nuance, but if the sound isn't necessarily exactly like Freddie Mercury, that doesn't mean you can't sing a Freddie Mercury song.
Yes.
But it's kind of going into like Adele would sound great on an Ariana Grande piece, but she wouldn't sound like her signature sound, like leaning into what serves you, what tells the stories that you want to tell, I think is.
And she would probably adjust the key.
And she would totally adjust the key. And it would sound like probably a lot more head voice dominant, you know, because as we think, I'm thinking about Adele popping up in Easy on Me.
That like head voice up there.
Yeah. She does a register flip and it's a full flip. Yeah. She's in a little bit more of a head mix if we like dig into it, but it's not that like bright, floaty, songbirdy mix like an Ariana Grande. So wrapping up, that was like lean into your signature sound and what serves you, but also like just strengthen your muscles.
It's training. Like you're literally working out muscles, just like any other muscle in your body. Like if you want to get fit, you have to go to the gym multiple times a week and push yourself to actually get better, get fit, get stronger, whatever you're working on, endurance, right? Yeah. It's the same thing for singing. If you want to get better at singing, you're just going to have to train your muscles. Like, yeah, I believe everyone can learn to sing, but it takes work.
Yes, it takes
and
work.
Not everyone is willing to put in the work.
That's true. And it takes time and like so much more patience than you want it to take. Like you just have to be, and it's like being patient with yourself. Like when have you ever gone to the gym on a Monday and lifted 10-pound weights and then gone to the gym on a Tuesday and lifted 65-pound weights? Like that's just not quite how it works.
Yes.
Yeah. So like you have to like give yourself grace as a singer. And that's kind of what I mean with taking the morality out of singing. Yeah. Like, okay, your voice cracks. Then what? Sing it again. Yeah. or figure out the root of the challenge there. Yeah. So
well, because if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's kind of like, you know.
Then we're running into like, all right, we're creating muscle memory that's not serving you. But
practice doesn't make perfect. It makes permanent.
Oh yeah, so real.
So yeah. Well, so I would say we can agree that singing is a skill that can be learned. I believe though that some people have a natural talent for singing, so they maybe start a little bit further down the road of the singing journey, right? Like let's say someone has zero talent for singing. They need to start with like, all right, let's learn how to match pitch, right? Yeah. Like, all right, they're starting down here. Someone who has natural talent, you know, might already start up here, but that doesn't mean you can't catch up with 100%. Someone who has natural talent. And you can both go up and improve. Now, sometimes, I can't believe I'm saying this. Okay. Sometimes I prefer working with people who feel like they don't have a ton of natural talent because they work harder.
You're saying exactly what I was about to say. Okay, good. You're so on the same page of like, you can be born with being 60% of the way there. Yeah. Like you're like 25, 26, you're at your peak lung capacity, your voice is fully developed, all those things. You're already there. You've done all the training, you've been in 100 musicals, whatever.
Yeah.
And then someone can be 45, their voice is changing, everything's changing, and start from matching pitch, start from stringing together notes and not just going, make you feel my love.
Yeah.
And taking that to make you feel my love, you know?
Yeah.
But if that person practices and 60% over here doesn't practice, then this person's going to get to 50 and this person's going to stay at 60. And then this person's going to get to 55 and this person's going to stay at 60. And if you don't hone what you have, it's kind of like, this is like kind of getting into it, but thinking about like being in middle school and like being put in a gifted program. Because because math just like comes really easily to you.
Yeah.
Like that's great. And then you never quite learn how to study and you never quite learn how to practice. And so I think kind of bouncing off what you said, the adjustment period in lessons for, I'll say naturally gifted singer, like people whose bodies are just ready to do it, ready to sing. The adjustment period in like allowing yourself to take notes, taking the morality out of it, it's a harder kind of shock. It's hard to take something you're already good at and then find out, oh, I have to adjust these things to become better at it.
What would be your biggest tip for somebody starting out? Like they don't feel like they have a lot of natural talent and they want to get better because they really enjoy singing. Where should they start?
I'm actually going to say start with your mindset going into it. Like it's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
Truly, I love it. At the end of the day, connect with your love for music, connect with your why. Start there. And then kind of what I was saying before, what are you already good at? Do you already talk up here? Great. Yeah. There are a ton of songs that are just singing up here. Start there. Find what connects you to material. Is it text? Is it the lyrics? Is it the musicality? Do you just like when these chords get a little funky and it like kind of scratches your brain? Are you really drawn to this person because of their story and you know what they're trying to communicate? Find what draws you in and don't let go of that.
Yeah.
And then we can match pitch for the other 20 minutes. You know?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be an hour of trying to match pitch. You're going to go crazy and you're going to like lose the joy of singing.
I would say that's the biggest tip. Don't lose the joy. Remember why you're here. Remember why you want to sing. Even if you just want to sing because you want to have one song at karaoke where you go up and kill it and everyone's like, oh my God, you killed it. Like, have a good time.
Yeah.
There's my tip.
I think mine is similar to what you're talking about. Mine would be like, focus on what singing feels like.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than what you sound like, because we always are our own worst critic.
Oh, yeah.
And we judge everything that we do. And so we're like, oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. And I'm like, actually, that was pretty good. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. So just focusing on what singing feels like so that we can start from a foundation where singing physically feels good, right?
Yeah.
And we're not making sacrifices where it's like, all right, if I push, I can reach that note.
Yeah.
That's not going to serve you in the long term. So, if we're starting with a blank slate, even if we're not, by the way, even if you're not starting with a blank slate, make sure singing feels good.
Yes.
But, we can make sure that we don't have to get rid of bad habits further down the road because the only way you can reach that note is if you push. It's not going to be sustainable.
Yeah.
And also that means you're not going to be able to continue expanding your range if that's already your limit, right? So just focusing on singing, like the feeling of singing. Does it feel good? Does it feel trapped in your throat? And just taking the judgment out of what you sound like.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, if singing feels good, you're going to sound a lot better than when it doesn't feel good. So focus on feeling, like the feeling of singing and the mindset of singing.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. That sums it up pretty well.
Yeah.
Perfect. Do we want to do a vocal warm-up ourselves real quick before we look at some of these stars doing some vocal warm-ups? Yeah. Okay. So a little call and response thing. Please practice along together with us. We'll just make it up on the spot.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll snap on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da da ba da. Da da ba da ba da da ba da 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 ba da
da da da
Da da da da da da
da da da da da.
Oh, I just love your vibrato. I'm getting so distracted just listening to you sing. I don't ever get to hear you sing.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, but not often enough.
No, yeah.
Anyways, let's move on because we got more stuff.
My musical theater roots.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Oh my gosh, whatever. Okay, that's another episode. We're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Where were we? Da 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 da
Da da da
da da da.
da da da.
Hello, Italian family. Yeah, I can hear it. Okay, we're getting into Emily territory. Da 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 da. Let's look at some singers.
Let's look at some singers.
Or even artists.
Or even artists.
And doing some exercises.
Doing some exercises.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Love it. Real quick, before we look at an exercise, who's one of the artists that you can think of right now who has grown vocally immensely, like during their career?
Taylor Swift.
Duh.
Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor
For
Swift
sure.
is absolutely one of those. But I also think she just started singing songs that fit her voice a lot better. Because when she started, she was like always like up here, very like belty and like, And I'm like, and now she's like down in the basement.
Yes, and also she grew up. Like, okay, your voice doesn't fully. We're talking for women, I'll say.
Yeah.
Your voice doesn't fully finish developing until around 20. So if she's singing these songs, like these songs that are already like kind of pushing her range.
Yeah.
At 16, like, yeah. How many High School Musicals have you gone to where like they're not quite hitting it the way that like maybe they could with a little training or a little whatever. And now like you said, like she totally knows what fits her voice. She's like really settled into her signature sound. And she's also belting like D's. You know, like she's still getting up there, but she's not living in that like
she's not
DCD
living up
brain.
there the entire time. Yeah, that's something we didn't touch on when we were like, focus on your strengths. Like that doesn't mean you should never go outside of that. Go outside of that. I call it your prima voce, kind of like that sweet spot of your voice. Still go outside of that, but that doesn't mean you have to live there.
Yeah,
constantly.
You don't have to live there. You don't have to do all your repertoire there, but like still push yourself. That's fun as well, you know?
Yeah. Singer that I can think of would be Katy Perry.
Yeah.
She's gotten a lot better. I remember watching her Super Bowl halftime show and I was like, oh, this is a lot better than what it used to be. So she's grown a lot too. Yeah. Rihanna is another one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's also there's a pattern here too of these singers getting older and kind of growing into themselves and their voices and like finding where they want to identify on the artist scale.
Yeah.
And then kind of seeing what fits that. And I feel like it's all very whole, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like if Katy Perry was still singing things that were maybe pushing her range or not quite as comfortable, but had the artistic identity of who she is now, it would be kind of misaligned.
Yeah, fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
Never thought about that. Well, there you go. That's why this is called Singer to Artist, right?
Find your roots and stick with them.
Well, and also like Kelly Clarkson, like in recent interviews, like she says like, I am a better singer now at 40, whatever, than I was when I won American Idol.
Yeah.
Was it American Idol? Yeah. So, and she was already amazing back then, right? And now she's like, like I keep training my muscles. I keep maturing and it just keeps getting better. And I was like, get it, girl.
Yeah.
Anyways, shall we look at some singers doing some vocal exercises?
I would love to do that.
Let's do it.
You do exercise, or how do you work that? I mean, do you?
I still have a coach.
Really?
I do have a coach. And
What does a coach do with you?
it's really boring.
Why do you need that?
It's a stretch. If you go and see a dancer stretching on the floor, you might think she's very flexible. Wow, she can really stretch that leg. But it's not choreography. it's not artistically beautiful. So us, and then you go on stage and you give it.
Give me a vocal warm-up. What do you do?
Well, like that.
This is before in the dressing room?
I do this for a few different ones, obviously, but it's just to pre, pre, bra, bro, bro, bro. Boring. But this is
There
like
you go.
warming up.
Oh, see, even the best of the best have vocal coaches.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a continuous training. Like athletes, you have to continue training your voice, or like not athletes, whatever it is they're training for,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like they continue training so that they can stay in shape and get better. Like even maintenance, right? Like vocal maintenance, like staying at your level. That also takes effort.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she did a couple things, lip trills, right?
Yeah.
Like
Big fan.
SOVT, semi-occluded vocal tract.
Love
It's
that.
one of those.
Get that reverse air pressure back to vocal fold level. Fill
Yes.
everything out.
Yes.
It's a great. So that's how I start every warm up.
SOVT.
I
is
always start with an
the
SOVT.
first thing I do.
Yeah.
Lip trill or like a what's
your favorite?
Like a pufferfish.
Found it.
Pufferfish is my favorite. Humming is okay too. I don't know. What's your favorite?
I'm a tongue trill girl.
Oh, raspberry. I call that raspberry.
Which I'll talk about. She
did
loves
that.
it. She
Yeah.
loves it. I can't sustain. Like I can sustain it for a little bit, and then,
Okay.
but hello. I can't speak. That's it's my evidence. I'm a tongue tension kind of girl.
Yeah, same. My dad always told me I sound like Shakira growing up. And I was like, I love Shakira. No problem. Now
you
years
identify.
later, I'm like, oh, that's because of tongue tension.
It's like, oh, because she was back here.
Yeah. Celine Dion also has a little bit of that
For sure.
tongue retraction tone
Which
happening.
is like a thing, kind of going back to what we were talking about, like signature sound. Not all, okay, this sound is tongue tension and also tongue retraction.
Yeah.
And if I can belt with ease with that sound and I like the sound of it,
Go
okay,
for it. Yeah.
Great.
Even though it's technically not what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, it's technically not your like clean, pure sound.
Yeah.
But why does that have to be the goal all the time? You know?
Yeah.
You know,
there you
just
go.
kind of like dig into that.
Yeah.
But yes, she started off with those SOVT slides ascending, which makes sense for the repertoire.
And like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You really smooth out the voice so there's no like no cracking or anything.
Yeah, work your way through breaks and flexibility, laryngeal
Yeah.
flexibility. Especially, I heard it in the lip buzz as well, the lip trill, where she did chest into head. Maybe I'll do it. And she made her way into it just to kind of find that flexibility between registers. And if you feel it here, now really try weighing down the bottom one.
Weighing down.
Do you feel a little movement?
Yeah, it moves
Yeah.
up and down. Yeah. I mean, not up and down. It just
Not
moves
like-
from down to up.
Yeah.
Not up, like back and forth. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, your larynx is flexible, right? And
Yeah.
it moves up and down. So
And we
Yeah.
and we want to, especially for Celine Dion repertoire, where she's going all over the place in every register all the time.
Yeah.
Like flexibility is probably her priority when warming up.
Mm-hmm.
Like let me check what I got today, and then
yeah.
make sure that I can do it all back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one more thing that I want to touch on, then
Yeah.
we'll move on to the next one, is, she's like, oh, it's very boring.
Yes.
We
Right.
do
Like,
vocal exercises not to sound great.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not the purpose of an exercise or a warm up, right? It's
Yeah.
to exercise or to warm up, not to sound amazing.
Yes, exactly. She made an excellent analogy with the dancer. You know,
Yeah.
like a dancer just like stretching her splits is not as artistically beautiful as doing like a grand jeté across the stage.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like that's not the same as a lift where you're, doing all the crazy. I'm not a dancer.
Well, you knew Grand Jeté, so you know.
I've danced a wee bit, but yeah, you know, it's not. But I've actually come across a handful of students, and maybe this is like teacher brain. I think that I recognize this is like people who maybe have a little bit of a teacher brain or like really like to study, where they're like, let's do exercises for the whole hour. And I don't want to sing a song.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I come across those people too. We're like, I don't want to work on a song. I just want to do exercises. And actually, I myself take 30-minute lessons.
oh, that's a great.
And in 30-minute lessons, it's like, I only got time for these exercises.
Yes.
And like every so often we do like 5 or maybe 10 minutes of a song at the end. But where I'm at in my journey right now, the exercising is the right thing for me. But yeah. Anyways, let's look at another one.
yes. Do we want to talk about her?
Oh, yes.
Hello, breath support. I mean, she's
little bounce.
Yeah.
The big thing for me when I do things like that is I need to make sure that my core doesn't tighten up so that everything gets tight in my throat. That's my tendency that I personally have. But yeah, just like keeping that flow going, the breath flow, and
where do you
get the support.
Where do you typically breathe?
Where do I breathe? I'm a rib breather.
A
360 expansion kind of
love
breather.
A 360.
Yeah. What about you?
I think it depends. I'm kind of all over. I don't really do low breathing. I don't really. I can rock a clavicular here and there.
Okay.
But
like up here?
Yeah. But nothing too crazy. I would say probably a rib.
All right. Let's have a look at Billy. Okay. So that's a really short little excerpt, but I like this one. Yeah. So I wanted to point out what she's doing with her tongue there, because we were just talking about tongue retraction.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like, you know, pushing her tongue against her finger. Why?
Oh, I love it. I love it. There are a lot of different things she could be doing. So when I first started my tongue tension journey, I'm definitely not the first person in the world to do it, but I created for myself something called reverse tongue tension.
Okay.
Which meant if my tongue was going to tense, it wasn't going back. So I was shoving my tongue basically against my teeth. And it doesn't look like she's using as much effort. And then over time, eventually the back of my tongue was like, okay, fine.
Yeah. I got it. I can relax now. Yeah.
Yeah. And everything just chilled out. And I mean, I worked through that in about like a semester and a half, and it shows up, you know, tongue tension shows up randomly, but it cleared up pretty quickly because I like took on the root of the problem. I gotta try. She's going like, ooh. It kind of gets my soft palate up a little bit.
Yeah. So she has like that typical breathy sound, right? That she might even be using a melody of one of her songs.
I can't recognize it in the short clip, but I totally buy it.
But I like the, like, it's just not something you see all the time. So yeah, it's just kind of like get the tongue out of the way, like in the back, right? So I like to do tongue bites, like whatever she does, right?
Yeah.
So just like sticking out your tongue, gently biting on it so it doesn't retract. So you get rid of that. So she does something like that, just a different version of it. And the finger, why does she do the finger? It's mostly like a mental thing, I think, because you can do it does the same thing. It's just kind of like, let's get everything a little bit more forward and out from the back is what I think she's doing.
And I mean, I don't know what entanglements and lack thereof that she deals with, because she's such a relaxed.
Yes.
She really rocks the relaxed thing.
Yeah.
But if she struggles with jaw tension, that's a great reminder to just like
stay open,
keep it chill, keep it relaxed. It's the same thing that sometimes just putting your hands here.
Oh, this is my best friend.
Yes. It just reminds your jaw like, hey girl, chill.
Yeah.
Like it's all good. So that's
and that you
really
don't have to move the jaw when you change pitch.
That's a great one too. It's
something you see a lot in people when they riff. They go, like, why?
Yeah.
Keep the jaw still.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah. That's really interesting. That's a very interesting warm up.
Let's do the next one. Ready for Christina Aguilera?
I was listening to a little Christina yesterday.
Oh, yeah? She was my biggest idol growing up. I was like, I want to be just like Christina Aguilera. Very different voice, like from me, but I love her stuff.
Vocal warm-ups with falsettos. now that we're a little more open, try to take in a good deep breath before you sustain this scale. So in the same approach, I would go to the E vowel sound. Like a eh. Everybody's gonna have different levels of scales and depth that they wanna go with. Take your time and really feel out and take in these notes one at a time and absorb the information as you play around with the scales.
So this is a little excerpt from her master class,
yeah,
where she was teaching people how to sing. I signed up for it because I wanted to see like what it was like, and it was very much like, oh, this is already pretty advanced stuff. But okay, so a couple different things. Like she's like, okay, I always start out with falsettos. So I start out with a SOVT, which is usually pretty head dominant. And then the very next thing I do is head voice because I'm a bottom heavy person. I need to balance myself. So I'm the same way. I go all the way up and I try to go as high as possible. She and I have a different definition for what falsetto is.
That's something I totally want to chat about.
Okay, let's dig into that.
What is falsetto to you?
To me, it's a breathy head voice.
Okay. Do you think of it as like within the realm of registration or more as like a stylistic thing?
It's a style.
I mean, it's so subjective. It's what do you think?
For me, for me, because for me, you have chest voice and then you have the head voice of like, and would be, in my book, falsetto. It's the same thing, but it's breathy. So it's a stylistic choice that you're making.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think that in my head, the definition of falsetto occurs at a higher pitch. So more of like a, that's when I think we're getting into falsetto.
So for you, it's higher than head voice.
Yeah,
it's like the top end of head voice.
The top end of head voice with like a breathy, airy quality.
Okay,
a little bit lighter. I also think, I guess it depends on the singer, but I think often I would use the word falsetto in a contemporary sense far more than I would in like a classical sense or musical theater.
Yeah. Higher than head voice. Like going into that kind of range, obviously we have Mariah whistle up top. But then for me, that in between, that's the flageolet in my book. Like, do you do flageolet stuff at all?
I just don't categorize it.
You don't categorize it? Fair. Yeah. I never used to until I started working with the coach I'm working with now. And he's like, yeah, flageolet. And I'm like, oh, flageolet what? And like, so I've heard it before, but not something that my 15 other voice teachers that I've worked with have ever talked about. Yeah. So it really just kind of depends on who you're working with.
Have you worked with male voice teachers?
The one I'm with right now is male. Yeah.
Is he the first one?
No, second one.
Okay. That was
third one. Sorry, third one.
Okay. That was going to be my question. Like, I wonder if that is used more with.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, Justin Stoney from New York Vocal Coaching also talks about the flageolet. Also another dude talking about flageolet, right? I've never heard a female singer talk about it.
Do they come from classical?
Don't know.
That could just be interesting.
Yeah.
Or do their teachers come from classical?
Yeah.
Where does it come from?
I don't know. Huh.
I'm assuming somewhere in the Western classical land.
Probably.
But
I mean, it's a very French, like flageolet.
Yeah.
Just the way you spell it, it's like, oh my God, hold on. Let me try and spell that. But anyway, so for me, again, like I like to go stretch up as high as humanly possible for me, which is not that high for sopranos, but for me, it's like, oh my God, so high. So just again, to balance out my bottom range, because I'm very heavy when I sing. So anyways, but yeah, I like the light first. Yeah. And then what's the next thing? Oh, she just sustained.
Yeah, sustained. Oh, she also had staccato at the end. Yeah. So she runs up, she like stretches up with the head voice or falsettos. And then ends on staccato to like finish off with that closure and that coordination.
Yeah. And the accuracy.
And the accuracy, to really just make sure you're settled in there. You're not just kind of like waving around. You're in control.
I always love it when singers are doing staccato exercises for the first time and they're all like their pitch goes all over the place and they're like, what is happening? I promise I don't suck. That was literally my first reaction when I did that. I was like, with a new voice teacher, I was like, I promise I don't suck. Like, what is going on?
In front of a class, we were doing, in my master's program, we were doing warm-ups in front of each other.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I had already come up a voice lesson. My voice is a little, I wasn't like at full fatigue, but you know, like end of an hour lesson with, I like to sing for 59 minutes, you know, and so I had really used my voice a lot and then not used it for like an hour. And I didn't have time for a cool down because it was like class to class. And then my class right after that, I went up and one of my peers was warming me up and we did 1851.
Yeah.
Like jumping an octave on staccato. And I was just like, nowhere, the pitch was nowhere to be found. And I was like,
what is going on?
Wow, it's just quite a day.
And you know, that just shows you, like, even if you're doing this every day and you're like a pro singer, like if you do a new exercise, something you're not used to, like your voice needs to first like figure out where it's at. And that's something she brought up too. She's like, take your time. Oh my God, that is so important. Just being like, all right, like, let me feel this. Like, how's my voice reacting to it? And what's her face? Maddie Tarbox.
I love her so much.
Okay, there you go. 'Cause you studied with her.
She was my voice teacher.
Yeah, there you go.
And now we're friends.
Oh, I love that. I just know her from the internet.
Text her all the time. Like,
but so something she talks about a lot is when you're doing a new exercise, she does it on like the same key, because usually you go up 3 or 4 times before you introduce any sort of change. Yeah. So just like slow down to speed up. Slow down to speed up. That is something I tell myself all the time. Yeah. Like in business with my voice, like sometimes you just got to take it slow to go faster. Yeah. So anyways, I love that. Let's do maybe one more or something else about Christina.
Something else about Christina. Oh, I think we should talk about her chest voice.
Oh my God.
And everything she does. Another great example of like, she's rocking that tongue retraction and we love it. Like I eat it up.
Yeah. I love her.
Like I don't hear her voice and think, wow, she has tongue tension. Like I hear her and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. She's taking it up. I also think it's really clear that she has a strong head voice because you need to balance out that musculature. You can't belt that high if you don't have a strong CT. Yeah.
Yep. That is, again, something I personally have to focus on because my chest voice is so heavy. I need to have the balance. Singing is all about balance. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So even if you don't want to sing high stuff in your songs, you still got to work on your head voice so that we can balance things out and you're not getting too heavy. Because that's the mistake that I made when I first went pro with my singing. Everyone was like, yeah, your chest voice, your low notes, incredible. Like, keep doing that. I was like, all right, cutting out head voice. Oh my God.
And then you stop stretching. It's like you stop stretching and only bulk up. Only lift weights, and then you never stretch.
And then you look like, and you're super tight. Like, it's like you can't walk anymore. That's exactly what happened to me. Like I lost so much of my range up the top, but then also like my belting got heavier and heavier and heavier, and I got more and more and more tired with my voice, and eventually I ended up with an injury. But that's a story for another point, like another time. But balance. Oh, and then she just like on different vowels. We didn't talk about that, but but that's important, right? Like just exploring some different vowels so you can do it on different sounds, because when you're singing language, you're going to use different vowels. Love it. Let's do one more. Woo! Okay, so something that doesn't involve the vocal folds, right? Because like if you're doing this, you don't feel any vibrations on your throat, meaning your vocal folds are not involved. Yes. So,
which is what we want for this exercise.
What is this exercise for?
I would say support and control, because want to make sure we take in enough of a breath to feel full and have enough air. And then you need to control the pace at which it comes out. So you're not like, and then you're out.
It should be nice and even. Yeah. We just had a check-in session with one of your students.
Literally, on Monday?
Was it Sarah who was talking about just on Monday. So just a couple days ago, how she went from only being able to do 14 seconds.
It was like 14 seconds and she did 32 or something.
Yeah. At the end, she did 32 within just a couple weeks. It's like, okay, girl, get it. So so breath control. And why? Okay. So why do the and not just the entire time? What's that for?
I would say that might actually, well, I mean, they're both support and control, but we could be doing a little bit of core work there, depending on where you're controlling it. That would be leaning towards support. Yeah. And control would be if you're just managing it at this level, at the vocal fold level, to make sure that you can start and stop. And there's not leakage in between. It's not. Yeah. Yes. You know, otherwise we're totally out of control and we need to work on that.
I was just working with a student on that. The like making a pause even with your breath, like in a song. Cause it was really weird. Like when it was like the two phrases were connected, I was like, no, they have to be completely disconnected. Cause otherwise it doesn't fit the song. Yeah. And so she stopped singing in between. So she stopped like holding out the note for really long. But then the breath was still going. I'm like, no. Even the breath. Got to stop the breath too. And then she heard it and was like, oh my God, that sounds so much better. I'm like, yeah.
Had she learned that somewhere? Or is that just the idea of singing that I think every individual has is so interesting, and how that like
over singing is something that I see a lot where, you know, people are just holding out notes for the sake of holding out notes. Yeah. I'm like, why? We're in the first verse. Let's keep it more conversational. Let's keep it simple. Right. But, this specific example was like in the middle of a phrase. Yeah. But it was literally written with a comma. And so it was an Imagine Dragons song. And I was like, nope. We gotta disconnect these two. Yeah. But anyways, so even not vocal fold stuff can be useful to practice for your singing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we looked at a couple different exercises. What's your favorite exercise?
That I do. I got this from one of my peers in grad school. Every time I introduce it to a student, it breaks their brain. I don't know how. I think it's just because they're not expecting something off a major arpeggio. But it's ma, ma, ma.
Okay.
And we take it up and belt it.
Ma, ma.
Yes, and then just like add a little swing to it. Ma, ma, ma.
Ma, ma, ma. That's like right over my break. You couldn't have picked a worse key.
That's where I'm speaking.
Yeah, see, for me, it's like, I'm like way down here. Yeah. Ma, ma, ma. That'd be a lot easier for me.
Yeah. And that's ma. That's reaching like my bottom.
Oh,
that's
really?
When I'm talking in my fry right now, I'm like ma.
Ma, ma.
I'm not even going to pretend.
La, la, la. But again, you know, we're just different people with different voices. Yeah. So anyways, I would say my favorite is CC. C. It really helps me go higher without dragging too much weight up with me.
It's interesting. And you're also getting some nice airflow with that.
Yes.
C.
I like C over like he. Because the exactly. Yeah. When I do it's everything starts squeezing. Yeah. C, I don't have that issue.
That's it. I love a Z for the same reason.
ZC? Like a ZZ or a CC?
ZZ. I mean, I don't do this exact exercise, but I will do like a Z. Yeah. Live on the Z for a second. One, to show you that like, try phonating on your consonants.
I think we have a pop song exercise that goes something like zay, zai, zo.
I think you're so right.
But I cannot for the life of me remember. We have almost 100 of them, so like, I don't know.
Is it flowers? Me, me, mamu, me, me, moo. Lali, lelu. Zozizes.
Yeah, zizes.
I can't believe that just, I cannot believe that just came to me.
I can buy myself flowers. I can love me better than I can, baby. Oh, di-di-di-di-di, I started to cry. Ha, 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 I remembered Mame mi momu la le li lo lu a-e-o. There you go.
Okay, so there's no Z.
There's no Z, but you could totally go Mame mi momu za ze zi zo zu a-e-o instead of la la la.
Yeah. Just depending on what you need to work on.
But there is another one where you have the z, but I
can't believe that just came to me.
Any which one of them. Just go through the 100 of our pop song exercises and you'll find it. But anyways, love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that wraps it up. So anyone can learn to sing.
Yes.
Some people might start at 60, others might start at 10, but everyone can improve and get better and get to a really, really good pro level, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Vocal exercises are important.
Yeah, warm up. Come, be real. Warm up.
Warm up your voice. It's not going to hurt you. It's only going to help.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what singing feels like.
And warm up for like 15 minutes. Like you don't need to warm up for like an hour.
Oh, no.
If you wake up at 6 a.m. and have an audition at 6:30, like maybe you can make noise for those whole 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, we have warm up tracks and exercise tracks, and they're all between 8 to 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like.
You rarely need more than 20. 20 is typically pushing it if you tack on skill acquisition.
Girl, if I am not warm after 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I call it a day.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
like,
because
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, there's so many external factors that affect your voice too. Like I'm getting over or I'm on the other side of a cold, but I still now I'm waking up with like a little bit of extra mucus, a little bit of extra
Yeah.
And so when I warm up, I'm going to have to do I love a Z because I learned this from Maddie as well. Like it kind of shakes up your mucus because it's, especially if you lean into the vibration.
Yeah.
Like a zzz, like I'm going to have to spend a little extra time there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Feel it. Take your time, feel into it.
Yeah.
I mean, Christina Aguilera said that perfectly, right? Take your time, feel into it.
Don't do things for the sake of doing them. Know why.
Know
why. At least a little bit. You don't need to be like the
like the laryngeal tilt or the whatever. Who cares?
We need to know that.
Yeah.
But the singer doesn't need to know that.
Yes. Yeah.
It's for the best that we know.
And if you are interested, let's talk about it. And we'll fill you in on the anatomy and all that stuff. But at least this is an exercise that's going to help me with.
Yeah.
And then you can focus on that.
My warm up checklist is SOVT through my range, hit my head voice, hit my chest voice, hit my mix. Then I know I'm balanced.
Yeah.
If I'm belting, which I probably am, do a little belt. That'll probably take me to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If I need to, sometimes I'll go really up in the rafters of head voice if I get too excited or need to.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, what's up there today? And sometimes I'll explore the depths of chest voice if I feel moved to do so. But again, hit your basics. Doesn't have to be too crazy.
Yeah. I love that. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Emily.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course. If you have any questions, let us know. Shoot us an email. We're happy to help. But thanks for joining, and we'll see you in the next one.